Hi everyone, good morning, Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abbaim. We're continuing in Mishna Daf Hashavua. We're finishing up the Hakdama of the Pri Megadim quoted in the beginning of Siman Ayin Tes. We're in the fifth category, the fifth section of Tzoah. We're talking about Tzoah in a glass. Yesterday we saw the Machlokes, the Rashba and the Rush, whether La Yerbacha Ervas Davar applies to Tzoah. The Rashba says yes, the Rush says no, anything you see is your Machana. It's included in V'haya Machanecha Kadosh. Now, in Sivkatan, in the fifth category, the Berura mentioned that Tzoah in glass is mutter, and it's mashma that even if it's not covered and there's a mechitza, that's also considered a cover. However, the size of the mechitza, the Pri Megadim doesn't mention 4 lines from the bottom on the right-hand column. If the mechitza is in the house, it has to extend from wall to wall. If it's in the field, the amount, the size is not mentioned. Tvachim, chashiva mechitza l'hater kenegda. Anything which is 4 tvachim wide is considered a mechitza to permit opposite it, avaloi keneged ha'avir, but not opposite the empty space. Ayin sham. Oid kasar Pri Megadim tzoah bachutz. If there's tzoah outside, v'roya toicha chaloin zechuchas, and you see through a glass window, that's shari l'kol yama. Why? Certainly, according to the Rush, it's V'haya Machanecha Kadosh. Whatever you see is your Machane, but not if there's a glass window. What about according to the Rashba V'layira B'cha Ervas? We'll see. Shari Mechitzas Chuz Ma'avsach Zoneim. Ba'filo Rashba B'sef Beis the Oyser B'shus Acheres Kisharois Mikamag Shesh Mechitzas Chuz Shari. Okay, Baruch Hashem. We have some understanding of this. Okay, Hashishi. Here's the 6th category. Tzoah b'mayim. Now this is very likely, right? Why is this very likely? Because in a avit shalmei ragam, in other words, in a toilet, it will likely it will be tzoah b'mayim. So says Mishna Berura is not a cover. The Dirshu points out clear water, dirty water. The Mishna Berura said earlier in Siman Ayin Vav that it is a cover. Even though erva and water is a kisoy, kivasimin ayin dal tzivkatan ches Magen Avram, b'tzoah kivasimin ayin vav Magen Avram tzivkatan tes. Why? Because there's a difference in v'layira b'cha by erva and by tzoah. By erva, all you need is it's a kisoy, any kisoy. But by tzoah, where it says v'chisisach, so v'haylav kisoy mikri, mash'enken gabe giloy erva. It sounds like by erva, it has to be, the problem is that it has to be galoy. So if it's covered with water, it's not galoy. By tzoah, it has to be v'chisisa. So water is not a kisoy. Interesting. Hashvi. Reach ra sheyesh lo ikar. Have a ketzoah Torah. A smell that is coming from a substance is tzoah midaraisa. Al ken tzach lachim mil achav da'at amos mimakom shekal arech. Therefore, you have to distance yourself, even if it's behind you, 4 amos from where the smell stops. So, in other words, let's say there's tzoah and the smell is wafting. You got to move away at least 4 amos from where the smell stops. Vimkara, and if you did read chayzer v'kar, you have to read again. If you said Shema, you have to read again. Ach le'inyan zeh kil mitzaya. Smell is more lenient than tzaya. Dimhu b'cheder acher. If it's a different room. Af d'loi mahani hefsek l'reach ra. Even if it's not stopping the smell, you don't have to go 4 amos from where the smell stopped. Once you're in a different room, as long as you don't smell it. As long as the smell doesn't reach you, it's mutter. Even if the smell reaches the room where you are. But if it doesn't reach you, even though you're within 4 amos of the smell, it's okay. loy kivan shaloi loy higea mutter. I guess it should say liloi, since to him it didn't reach its mutter. Magia loy areach ra aser b'zeh rak midrabanan. Wow. Let's say the reach ra reaches him, then it's mutter midrabanan. Then it's only aser midrabanan. Why? Dehu chasher rak reach ra she'in lo yikar. Because since you're in a different room, even though the smell is coming from a substance, but the smell in your room is not from a substance because it's already in a different room. So then we say, this is the psak of the Eliyah Rabbah and the Parsha, not like the Levush, and that's how the Derech HaChaim brings the halacha. Amnon midivrei Berura sif beis dir maskal rush mashna the sarv kalavush the af vehefsek rishus beina dalat am zman mishkal reich. The gra is mashna like the Levush, that even in a different room you still need 4 amas from where the smell stops. V'chein hetek hachaye adam. So in other words, it seems like the Bir Halacha is going like the Eliyah Rabbah and the Parsha, not like the Levush and not like the Gra, which is surprising. Then it says the Bir Halacha I saw the Pri Megadim was also Chayzar. So it's interesting that the Bir Halacha comes out Lakula when the Gra, the Levush are Machmer, and the Pri Megadim himself was machmer, and at the end is masupik. Even regarding covering, the Pri Megadim is mashma that he retracted and he is masupik. The Siman ayin vav oisav ve'ishav ramasha soiser the soisim karajba. The mechusa mikri reach ra she'en la'ikar, that if it's covered, it's called a reach ra that doesn't have a substance. Then tzach rak an makom sheich la'reich, and as long as you don't smell it, it's okay. Uvesoiv siman zav mishoizav chazar by benisha b'tzarach iyon. V'chein beber hagra hanal mashma dezech chashav reich sheish la'ikar. The gra is mashma that just because it's covered, but if it's coming from a substance, it's called reich ra sheish la'ikar. I don't get, says the Bir Halacha, what the Gra means when he says, like the Rashba says, the bottom line is like this: if you're in a different room, or if it's covered, the Bir Halacha seems to come out Lakula, that you don't need to go 4 amas away from where the smell is, as long as you don't smell it. However, there are some eminent achroinim that are still machmer, and they say you have to go 4 amas away from where the smell stops. 8th category, hashmini. So I'm not the only one who has, like 10 things, the 10 things. Here we have already, so the Chavetz Chaim beat me to it. The 10 categories of Tzoah. By the way, for Parshas Kadoshim, I'm thinking of doing the 10 things to think about when you eat. Yeah, good? That's a good one. Kadoshim. Okay, Shmini. Tzoah oiveres ve'ein oimeid b'makaymai. Passing Tzoah. Tzoah in a slingshot. Yes, I'm in the aftermath of sitting many meals with a lot of kids. Okay? Tzoah in a slingshot. And it's passing by. Gamkein who din Torah is da'iraisa came ashna gemara pasuk shachanach be'ayin vav siv gimel delafanav, as long as you could see it kamlai einav, as long as it's within eye shot ula achrav da'at amos. May Ram masha bach pasuk gamkein ta'afna lefanav dai b'dalat amos. The Rambam is masha even in front of you, it might only be midrabanan.
That's a child with a dirty diaper, or it's called mechusa?
A dirty diaper is called mechusa. However, that's going to depend on what we just said in Zion. That you need to distance, the Bir Halacha seems to come out l'kula as long as you don't smell it. But according to those other achronim, you would have to go 4 amos away from where the smell stops. L'chayr, it's mechusa, diaper is mechusa. Number 9, mei raglayim. What?
The dinner smell is totally in the individual person. Meaning, the person has a stuffed nose. He doesn't smell it right then. You can stand right next to it. Is that how it works? Or is there like
Well, you certainly have to be 4 amos away from it. You mean, do we take...
No, if it's mechusa...
right, if it's mechusa, correct. L'chayra, it's...
I mean, if the corona, that sense of smell.
You want to know, should you go to your doctor to give you one of those crazy drugs to get your smell back after corona? What is it called? What they give them?
You marviach this halacha.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's true though.
What if you put a clothespin on your nose?
Right, it doesn't help.
Doesn't help. But l'chayra, it does depend on your specific smell. We never saw that it's like average smell. I don't know. That's when it's mechusa. I'm not sure. Hachi, meraglayim min atar asar rak neged amud. Urine is only asar opposite the flow. Hashoy says, but if it's dripping, v'chol shekain me'aro, or if it's a pool on the ground, midrabanan. Mikamakam tzarch laharchik mimei raglayim kimloy einav lefanav. Nevertheless, you need to distance yourself from urine, eyes distance before you. La'achrav dal amis v'chol zeh b'she'in masrichin. That's if it doesn't smell. Hakishamasrichin midin tayr aser. If it smells, it would be aser midaraisa. And finally, asiri ashba sharei a garbage that smells bad, unavela shemasrach is a rotting carcass. V'chol davar kiyotzu b'zeh dinoi kitzaya. It has a din of tzoah u'min ha'Torah. Aser, it's aser biblically. After Pri Megadim leiska rak stam ash unavela v'chol davar shamasriach. Even though the Pri Megadim only mentions stama garbage or nevela or something that smells. Mikamag miyadua laham ayin heiter b'halacha zu the stama asha ina b'chlal zeh. Even though the Pri Megadim says staman ashba, anyone who is ma'ayin into this halacha would realize stama garbage is not included. Rak shedua sharei only if it's known to smell bad. Dilav hachi asur rak mishum de b'stama yesh bat soyo me'arglam. Otherwise, it's only asur because presumably it has excrement. Ava b'shedua she'en ba'ela. If you know it's our regular garbage cans, there's no din of harchaka. Likewise, something that smells, it's only those things that its smell is strong. And doesn't usually dissipate. Otherwise, then you only have to distance from where the smell stops. In other words, an item that it's not soya, it's not a rotting carcass, just happens to smell bad now, then just go to somewhere where you don't smell it. A toilet bowl, meaning a bowl of urine, or a mound of excrement, that's also midaraisa. And everybody wants to know, what about from a dog? Because that's very common. You're walking in the street. Yivar b'seif hasiman. That will be explained at the end of the siman. V'reach rash she'ein lo ikar. If somebody passes gas, that's also rak midrabanan. Kain mavur b'likutei harambanu Berura v'dina v'ayin b'seif hasiman u'mechusa v'reichoi noidef. What something that's covered, but it's still the smell is wafting. Ayin le'el b'oy zayin. Okay, so we'll pick it up in siman Ayin Tes on Monday, and we should be zoicha to a reach nichayach of the Melech HaMashiach v'harichoi b'yiras Hashem. We learned in the Haftarah on Shmini for those who missed the Haftarah of the 8th day of Pesach. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Agun Shabbos. Kol Tov. Good Shabbos.